Hey there, are you tired of watching the same crappy show over and over again?
What is this shit?
And you tired of the woke bullshit of today?
Douchebag motherfucker, cocksucker, shit, motherfucking prick.
And are you tired of overpriced video games that don't work day one with overpriced DLC? If this all sounds right, then the Ninj-Yang show is right for you. All you have to do is come and subscribe, and make sure to listen to the podcast. I'll desire all your needs. Ninj-Yang, no bullshit, straight up content. The content that's right for you.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dice coming right back at you. Welcome to episode 6 of my podcast. I hope you're all having a great day, and today we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane. It's going to be quite a nostalgic topic today, and today we're going to be talking about the SEGA Dreamcast, and also a site that some of you guys may remember in the early 2000s called sonicstyle.org. In fact, what I'm about to talk about might be surprise you guys. So let's start with sonicstyle.org. Back in the early 2000s, there was a place called sonicstyle.org that you can actually download wallpaper, play flash games, download Sonic music of, all types of Sonic games, post fan art, post pretty much, topics of Sonic related, also news, and just a bunch of cool stuff that I had going on in that site. In fact, I started that site way back in the early 2000s. I was in high school working part-time, and I was paying about, say, $450 just to keep that site running. I actually created that site way back in the 2000s. I started that site, I paid for it, and I had some people who actually kept it going, people who actually were posting things and was uploading all this cool stuff that you guys may remember. And I was having a conversation with some friends of mine I grew up, and we were talking about the good old days of the internet, how things were a lot more personal, and remembering friends and people and all this good stuff. And one of my friends says, "Yo dude, remember that site we started way back in the 2000s called sonicstyle.org?" And I was like, holy shit, I remember that. I mean, fuck, I've kind of totally forgot about it. Well, what happened, guys? You're probably wondering, why did I close the site down? Well, a lot of it actually comes down to, just finishing high school, and I was at that time heading out to the Marine Corps. I signed up to go in the Marine Corps and serve my country. So I couldn't find somebody to take over for me, and also somebody who was willing to take the responsibility of paying for the site and making sure it was running for you guys. So I had to make a tough decision and close it down because I couldn't keep it running. Plus my family life was at that time pretty bad. Back then, during the late 2000s, things were pretty bad for me, and I had a lot of cool things going on. There was also another site that I started that didn't get as much traffic. It had its small traffic, and that was a thing called Shadow Central HQ or Shadow Central. I don't remember. I had a Shadow site, and I had a pretty good followers on there. I mean, not big as much as Sonic, because that was kind of the all to be all, right? But I had a few sites back in the early 2000s called Sonic Style, ShadowHQ.org. And I also have my own UFO site, and I think that was maybe the most busiest site I had of all of them. And then I had to close all those sites down because I couldn't keep it running, and also it was actually killing me to keep those sites running because I actually had to pay to make sure those sites were being run right. A lot of people don't realize that, when people talk about sites lacking and lagging internet connections, because you actually have to pay to keep those sites running properly. Because there's plans you can have those sites running, at maximum, or either have them run like shit. So people are wondering, oh, my internet's good. That's because whoever's having that site running, it's running like shit, and they're not paying the price to keep that site running well. But with sonicstyle.org, I was making sure that that site was running at full maximum. At least I tried to keep it running at full maximum. But as I remember, it was running pretty well, and a lot of people really loved going on that site. I totally forgot about that site because it's just one of those things that, you know, I have so much going on in my life, and I've kind of forgot about little things like that. And one of my friends brought it up, and I was like, holy shit, I remember I started at sonicstyle.org, and it was one of like the best sites I ever done. In fact, I met a lot of cool people back then. In fact, there was a few people from the SEGA department that actually were there chilling and just kind of having a good time. They went by different names, but they were actually pretty much responsible for sending me some of the wallpaper and also some of the Sonic Channel calendars, man. You know, so big thanks to SEGA, man. Whoever worked at SEGA was really cool to donate those things so people can actually download that kind of stuff. Back then, it was really one of a kind. The internet back then was a lot more personalized and a lot more. It was like an exclusive club that you can go to, and I just remember a lot of people loving that site. They would, say that this site rocks, and it had flash games from all Sonic types of games, and also free wallpaper, free Sonic music downloads. I put a lot of time into that site, making it the best it can be, and then I had to shut it down because I couldn't keep it running anymore due to going to Iraq and fighting for my country. But another thing I want to talk about, guys, is another thing that, you know, I was just kind of sitting down and thinking about, and that's the SEGA Dreamcast. You know, I'm a big SEGA lover. You know, I talk about SEGA quite a bit. And in fact, that Sonic Style page, you know, was really like my passion for Sonic and SEGA, and I wanted to make a site for people to go to that was like dedicated to those things I like before I had to close them down. But with the SEGA Dreamcast, man, a lot of people don't really realize that back then the SEGA Dreamcast was like really ahead of it. It was really ahead, man. Power wise and just, you know, technologically. Back then I remember surfing the web with my SEGA Dreamcast. In fact, a lot of people's computers, early days of computers, was a SEGA Dreamcast. I remember watching flash videos on my SEGA Dreamcast, like Newgrounds. Yeah, Newgrounds existed back then. It was way more cooler back then, man. You know, some of the people I talked to on there was fucking dope. Playing online was something quite special, man. And, you know, I knew that I had a friend who had a SEGA Dreamcast, and I still give him shit today. And he used his SEGA Dreamcast to fucking watch porno movies, man. Like, I just give him shit all the time. So, dude, while I was watching SEGA Dreamcast, like, fucking, you know, Newgrounds, you were there fucking jerking off to, like, fucking hardcore cum shot porns. And he's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. You know, like, that's ain't funny. It's funny to me because it's like, I caught you a few times, you know, on your fucking SEGA Dreamcast when I would, like, you know, come to your house and you're, like, fucking watching pornos. It's some of the funniest shit, man. I things I would never forget. And it's just, it shocks me to think that back then, back in 1999 and even early 2001 and 2000s, that shit was on there. You had access to this shit, and it ran pretty damn good. I mean, yeah, it was like early stages, you know, internet, but still, it ran pretty fucking good. And it was not until like the PS3 and 360 where they reintroduced that feature that the Dreamcast actually started. It still fucking, you know, mind boggles me that the Dreamcast had so much potential, but yet it fell short due to just Sega's mistakes of the past. Man, it's crazy. I wish I can go back to the early 2000s, man. The early 2000s was like, honestly, the golden years of games, and just, there's a lot of shit back then I miss. Music, television, movies, games, a lot of shit, man. Even clothing style was was fucking dope back then. No Fear, Janko jeans. What else? I forgot that one brand. It was really popular back then. They had the Water Boy, Wet Willie, and Flame Boy. It was like a skateboard or snowboarding brand. International. I can't remember the brand, but a lot of you guys may know what I'm talking about. Back then, things were so great, man. And I thought about sharing this stuff with you guys because I know some of you guys don't know how good things were back then. And I also felt like sharing Sonic Style to you guys because, I started that site back then, and unfortunately I had to close it. And I was just wondering if people actually even remember that site, and what do you guys think if you knew that I was the one responsible for that site. I created that site, but the people who uploaded that stuff was my buddies. So I guess you could say it was me and my buddies who started Sonic Style. And we look back at it and just like laugh and just kind of reminisce on how the internet was back then. Back then, man, if you created a site like that now, it wouldn't hold up the same way as it did back then. Today is just that the Sonic fans are way different. They're a lot more negative, and honestly, you have a lot more fucking kids who talk shit. Back then, the internet was really a place for like people who are teenagers or people older. I mean, you didn't have fucking kids surfing the web back then. It was like the internet was exclusive, man. Only a few people had access to it. If your family came from a pretty good wealthy household, or had things like that. And I think if I brought back Sonic Style, it just wouldn't be the same, because me and my friends were thinking about bringing it back, but I told them I don't think it would work the same way. It's just things are different, people are different, and it wouldn't be that same site that we started so many years ago that was so great. We're talking about a huge demographic that honestly a lot of them are negative, a lot of them are kind of annoying, a lot of them don't know how to talk to people, a lot of them are just haters. And back then it just wouldn't work the same way when we created it, because back then Sonic was still a franchise people respected, and Sega back then was a company that people still respected. So it just wouldn't work the same. But it's nice to talk about, and I reminisce on it, and it's something that I just smile about, and I think about how things were back then and just how great things really were. I mean, things were really great back then, and I just wish that this younger generation was able to experience the internet the way we did, and how personal and special it was. And, I don't think that's something we're ever gonna get back. That's a decade and a time that we're never gonna re-experience again. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little cool video I did, explaining something from the blast from the past, and I hope you all have a great day. If you guys have questions, comment below. Let's have a conversation. I like to know what you guys think, and if you guys have been on Sonic Style, is there anything you like to say? Comment below, and make sure to like and sub, man. Don't be a square. Like and sub. You guys have a great day.